Live from sunny Singapore, it's the ultimate blockchain show across the interweb. This is Rock the Block Live. And here's your host, Eugene Tay.
What's up, Crypto Universe? You're watching Rock the Block Live with me, Eugene Tay, and Malcolm Chang.
Hey guys.
So sorry we took so long to get back to you. Today is the last episode for this season, and after today, this is the last time we're going to film here, and that's it, man. We're going to go to a new studio next week. So very nostalgic, very sentimental. I brought Malcolm back because he was the guy who opened up the pilot with us, and I thought it was only fitting that he closed this season 1 with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I mean, it's so weird just now when the lamp fell, the Facebook stream couldn't work.
Yeah, man, today was an interesting day.
My goodness. But today, you're sitting here different from how you represented yourself the first time around, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Swipe, so the first episode was me talking about what Swipe does as a company and how we actually did things. I think today I'm representing more of myself, so I'll be talking more of like my personal insights and what I feel about certain things.
That's right. Why this is important is I felt we saved the best topic for the last part. The main questions that you guys have, majority is about money, how to make money, and what really goes on behind the scenes of creating your own ICO. Right? We were part of Swipe. We are part of Swipe, and the things that we have seen really from the ground up, from the conceptualization, from knocking on doors, and having Google suddenly saying all lock screen apps are now banned, pivoting at 360 degrees, getting your white paper torn and rewritten so many times. It is not a very easy path.
It's a very tough thing to go through, especially when you're so fixated or you're so enthusiastic about a certain idea.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to change. I think maybe we can start it off by saying that I think one of the most important points about doing your own ICO as a team is coachability. The team must be able to understand and learn from the mistakes and from the advice that their advisors give.
Okay.
A lot of problems, a lot of times, a lot of teams are so fixated of doing a certain idea that they are so passionate about, but because of certain issues like be it tech side or being from circumstances, the team must evolve, and it's a very new space, very fresh. You can't claim to know everything about blockchain.
Yeah.
You can't claim to know what's best for your business. Your advisors usually have those insights for you, and if you are not constantly rejecting your advisors,
why even have advisors?
Why have advisors in the first place? So I think what advisors are very happy to see with teams is that they are able to learn and they take their advice seriously, and they don't have to always accept it, but they have to reject it with proper reasoning and say that, hey, okay, we're not going to follow you because of these issues, and the advisor say, oh, okay, I think that's fair. Then you guys can move on together. But if you keep rejecting the advice of your advisors, there will come a point and says, you know what, you guys are not coachable, you guys can't change. I do not feel like I'm value adding to your team. Why am I here?
Actually, speaking of advisors, and we talk about advisors here, and that is a very taboo topic also in ICO. Actually, there's a lot of taboo topics in ICO. I'm an advisor myself, but at the same time, the word advisor in the blockchain community, when you tell someone, oh, I'm an advisor, they go like, scam. Because you get people on LinkedIn, you get a lot of projects who just plug and play, notable people on their team, slap the label advisor, and really, what do these advisors really do? Some of them are even like having 50 projects to advise in a matter of 3 months. Like, really?
Yeah, I think there has to be some metrics that qualifies you to be a good advisor.
Yeah.
And a good advisor is basically someone who can guide the whole team throughout this whole ICO process. And the best people to do that is actually people who have been through the process themselves, firsthand. So that's why I call a quality advisor. Someone who positions themselves as an advisor but do not have any kind of have not actually been through the whole entire work process can come off as a little bit shady unless they have a very specific type of advisory that they do. Like for example, marketing. I would say marketing is quite generic across board, although in crypto it's very specific because crypto communities exist in very specific places like Bitcoin Talk, Reddit, 4chan. These are the places that they like to exist, like to kind of like coexist and stuff. So these advisors who claim that they are good at marketing must be able to target these groups of people for them to be able to position themselves. I think you have to show proof that you're able to deliver. Just saying that you are an advisor with minimal credentials or you're early into the game does not really give that kind of like weight.
You know, some of the advisors that I've seen listed is like, advisor for this coin and this coin, this coin. Why? Because I bought Ethereum very early on.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I was a bit like, okay, so it's great that they notice this thing early. It shows that they have a lot of foresight. I think that's what they're trying to say. But what actually qualifies them to give good advice for teams to move forward, that one I think is a little bit debatable. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So we start off very strong already. As you can see, today's topic is very heavy.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to touch on a lot of points that might ruffle some feathers. So again, we don't mean to offend anybody. This is not meant to pinpoint or pick on any particular people or demographic. It's really what we have gone through. We want to share with you our experience, how we observe. Of course, we may be wrong, but if you think you have a better idea, you think you have some different point of view rather, please do drop it in the comments below. This is a live show, so we will get to see your comments and we can interact with you, even sort of get into a discussion right now, right here today. Okay, so you've seen what we're going to talk about on the macro level. Let's deep dive into the micro level.
Okay.
Let's go down to the basics. ICO 101. How is it like when can you remember, okay, maybe not you because you were a part of a bigger team.
Yeah.
And you, can you try to imagine how it's like as a founder coming out with this brand new idea and going at that point in time, I think this should go on the blockchain.
It's like an epiphany, right?
Whether he's right or wrong, that's debatable, but the whole...
the eureka moment. I mean, I'm not part of the founding team of Soy, but from what I can understand from interacting with them for a long time, is that actually it's quite scary because you're actually putting a lot of things on hold for you to pursue this. And I think that only those people who really set aside time, full time, to pursue it can do it. You can't just, oh no, I'm maintaining I'm still working full time my old business, but I'm just like spending 1-2 hours a day on this new blockchain concept. It's not going to fly because it really takes a lot of time and kind of like innovation to actually to create this idea. And I think it's scary, and not only is it scary, but it's very challenging because you're kind of like entering a new space. You need to learn new things. It can be quite frustrating, especially if you are at the stage where you think that you already know what's best. Or you really think
that's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
The minute you start to feel that you know what's best is where it's a spiral down to failure.
Right. Because, I mean, what works in your traditional business may not work in the blockchain system. So I would say a lot of concepts in the blockchain space, like, patents don't make sense to me, okay? Because patents is basically you're putting a wall around technology that's supposed to be open source. They're supposed to be shared with the community for people to use to kind of improve on and to make it better. That, to me, is the spirit of blockchain.
I want to tap on that.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant point you raised because a lot of people in the blockchain scene who are building ICO, they do not understand that the whole point of the blockchain and the whole point of developing tech on the blockchain is to give it to the community.
Yeah.
You develop it, you let it have a community consensus, and you hands-on, you back the fuck away from the project.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be there running as a business, milking it for the next 10 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best example is really Bitcoin. How Bitcoin is still around without a founding team, without a CEO, without anybody leading the company. It's just basically up to the community to decide, what's best for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of forks out there as well for people, different groups of people who disagree, and that's fine. It's as long as people disagree, they want to do their own thing. I think it's okay. But what's most important is that this technology is meant for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just meant for greedy fingers or big corporations to get themselves lucky. Oh, I have this amount of patents.
Yeah.
Maybe some people find it impressive because that's how traditional businesses are like. The more patents you have, the more control and more power you have. But that's not what, to me, the blockchain spirit is all about. It's all about sharing.
I covered this particular topic in a lot of my so I covered this topic in a lot of my talks on stage, where I talk about mindset behind ICOs, and on one end of the spectrum, or rather one list, you have traditional businesses who are all about profit,
Yes.
centralized ideas, control of these centralized ideas, patent, for example, and how much of the community you can milk.
Yes.
Right? And you have blockchain and ICO ideas, crypto ideas, where it's inclusive. It's about bringing people into your tribe. It's about developing ideas for people. It's not for self. It's how can you communicate and tie everybody into the ecosystem.
It's not what the blockchain can do for you.
Yeah.
It's what you can do for the blockchain.
Correct.
Because that is what what we are building together as a community. I think a lot of businesses, what their mindset is, how do I make money? And that sounds weird, but as a generic mindset, that's actually something that you should think of maybe later in the project.
Yeah.
Because my feeling is that when you always focus on making profit and how you're
Yeah.
going to milk the system or how you're going to earn profit sharing or whatever, that's actually where you start to think less of the community and think more of yourself as a business. I think at the end of the day, whether businesses survive or not is irrelevant. You have to design your system so that eventually you can hand it over to groups of people or to the community to take over from there. How is that transition of power? It's like if you're so adamant on holding on to all this control, you are not going to be able to let go. And when the team, for some unknown reason, moves on or gets abandoned or something bad happens, because the power is so centralized, there's no way that it can be transferred to a community. Yeah.
You see, and already we have seen, already it's so hard to understand blockchain, Bitcoin, decentralization, all-inclusiveness. That concept itself is hard for the traditional mind to grasp and understand. But now we are going one step further into telling you that when you're trying to run the business, if you can even call it a business, if you're trying to create an ICO, you got to discard all that you know and all that you've learned about business and go into this with a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah.
And I think one of my guests in the last 2 episodes ago, Kay Wu from MVL, he talked about the mindset of MVL because it's a use case, it's a ride sharing, and he did it for 0% commission. It's not to milk the man on the ground. It's how he creates an ecosystem around the blockchain, around his business plan that would help him monetize and able to run a business out of it.
Yeah.
So if I were to sort of conclude this first part of this very good introduction on ICO and how to get into it, if you're thinking of getting into it, the mindset is important. What are you developing this for? And do you even need to go on the blockchain? And who is your target audience? Because we're going to go to the next part now. There's a lot of projects out there when they're developing this awesome concept and idea that they have, they sometimes don't even know who their target demographic is.
Yeah.
They just assume that because I built ICO, people in the community is going to throw money at me.
Yes. I think these days, from moving from 2017, which was mostly a white paper based ICO, which was very focused on technology because people were very excited. Blockchain was just coming out, all the news technology, I can do this, I can do that. It was very, very nice to read and very interesting because you could see all these cool ways of basically imagine a whole new world.
Yeah.
But I think now in 2018, it has a lot to do with adoption because now people are saying, hey, you have all this technology, it's great. But who is going to be the one adopting and using your platforms? If nobody is using it, no matter how great a technology you're creating, it's not going to be very useful. I think that's the one thing that really drew me into Swipe because they had a very powerful adoption plan. It's because the thing about data right now is that we are giving it out for free, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can actually earn from our data. And if you put it into perspective, maybe as we get more educated, the willingness of us, maybe let's say Singaporeans, selling data, trading data for money may not be a smart idea because we are very concerned about data privacy and we prefer maybe if basically you give me $2 in trading for my data, I might say maybe I'll pass, But if you tell in maybe someone from a developing country, like Indonesia or Philippines, that hey, now you can get free money from doing something that previously was non-existent, something you didn't own. Now I give the ownership back to you. You can actually sell it to the open market for a couple of bucks, and this actually goes a long way because like they can use that to do like prepaid top-up loads. They can have more mobile data. They can buy stuff, which a few dollars to them, it's a big difference, especially when it's coming out of thin air. It's no extra effort on their side.
And on that note, when I spoke to the boys from Decentralized Machine Learning, which also about data monetization, from Hong Kong, Michael and team, they put out a very good point. The data monetization would be more prevalent and useful in developing nations, even in nations that are hard to get data from. Imagine a 9-year-old boy in Africa. If you can get his data is probably worth like $10 or $100 per point. But a Singaporean 25-year-old male, where he goes, what he does, what he eats, you probably get a few cents.
Because it's so common,
it's
right?
so common, yeah. So that brings us to the point of, so we are looking at, because you brought up the point where in 2017, all this white paper company, this high, I call it high fantasy.
Yeah.
High fantasy company promising you the heaven and earth, the utopia of the world, technology and blockchain and Bitcoin is going to change everything. The bank is going to go down with the feds. A whole new world, right, of just digital currency. Everybody hold hands together with kumbaya because we're so full of love. And then we realize that, okay, at the end of the day, when there's money and there's greed, and when there's an opportunity, the bunch of idiots coming in just messing up the place for everybody. That's life, right? Because now everyone's going to come in with half an idea, and because there is no governance, there's no one sitting down and who actually honestly knows what is what. So this is kind of a playing field where everybody comes in and kind of test it out. And the natural evolution will take place. Projects will die, projects will live. And in 2018, we realized that people are asking one very pertinent question. What can we use this for? Right? So you got this cool idea, but can I use it? How does one make money off this? And not just on speculation, because stable coin here, no longer shitcoin pump and dump times 10, right? So we're looking at stable coins. We're looking at, I buy this coin. Let's say it doesn't go times 3. I'm holding it now, what can I do?
Yeah, I think the utility that a lot of coins are bringing onto the playing field, like now these days there's a lot of focus on utility coins because as you know, security coins are very dangerous to do, and SEC are clamping down on these things. So utility coins are now the hot new thing, but what are you actually going to use it for? That is up to the project to give the use case to the people. But at the end of the day, I think, as you mentioned, is who are the ones actually going to be using this blockchain technology? And my answer comes from actually a quote from the CEO of Cardano, who says that the reason why he actually moved to Hong Kong from the US and he wants to focus a lot on Southeast Asia and the Asian market is because he feels that developing countries like Indonesia, Philippines, are actually the countries that will adopt blockchain technology first, because the systems inside the Western world are too structured and too hard to overcome. The people don't see a need for change. Like for example, living in Singapore, a lot of Singaporeans see cryptocurrencies as a way of investment. Why? Because DBS is quite a trusted, we trust our governments, we trust our banks. PayLah is like seconds, you don't even need to wait for anything. So it's so convenient. So why do you actually need blockchain transactions? You actually don't really need blockchain transactions. But the people in developing countries, when they have very not so strong infrastructures in terms of trust, in terms of like buildings or banks or ATM machines or whatever, that is actually where a lot of blockchain use cases come from, especially from countries with a lot of unbanked people. I mean, the word unbanked is used by many projects to say that they are doing some humanitarian thing, But the truth is there is some truth in that, because like let's say Indonesia, for example, 70% of the people there are unbanked, and they are the third largest population in the world. These are the people who need blockchain the most. These are the people who can really, now with cryptocurrencies, can enjoy the same benefits as we, modern citizens enjoy: buying things online, buying insurance, getting loans, transferring money to people. These are all things that we take for granted, but they are not even able to access, even in 2018. Can you believe it? It's because they can't get bank accounts, they can't get credit ratings, they can't get anything. So blockchain technology basically says, hey, we don't need to know who you are. We can create an online wallet, and now you can have currency, you can earn cryptocurrency through doing various things, and now you can trade with your friends or your family or your communities, and now you have a kind of like e-payment option, which is fantastic. I mean, that kind of thing is what makes me feel very strongly about blockchain technology, because they're actually providing something that maybe all of us kind of like took for granted, something that we already have. So investment is the only thing that comes to mind when we talk about blockchain.
I'm with you on that 100%. When I got into blockchain and why I love the cryptocurrency scene, if you think about that, you were young and you would come out from school, you try to get a job, and you would try to earn as much as you can.
Yeah.
And every couple of months, if 1 year, 2 years, you would jump job because somebody else pays you better.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah, it's normal, right?
Yeah.
But you will realize soon enough, when you reach my age, that yes, your pay has gotten more and more and more over the years, but so does the cost of living and everything else.
Yeah, family and
Right?
stuff, buying
And
stuff.
that's just us in developed countries. What more if you're in developing nations,
Yeah.
right? Unbanked and trying to make a living, still peddling stuff on the streets.
Yeah, it's really tough, man.
You never, if you're in the village, you're almost never going to get out of the village. The economy system is rigged so that when you're in debt and you're not earning enough, you are never going to get out of the rat race. But cryptocurrency gives people a chance to earn money. In the words of economists, you make money out of nothing. Not true. You make money out of doing something. You are worth something.
Yeah.
Your time, your data, your actions, your attention, all these are worth something. And because of various projects out there in the blockchain community who's targeting the unbanked, now by being a human being alive in some point in the globe, you are now worth something compared to how you were before in the fiat economic model where you're worthless.
I think that's a very interesting point. I would like to point out certain cases of how we can make money out of nothing. It sounds like an imaginary thing, like something like too good to be true. But there's a lot of actually cases, right, that you're actually, by cutting out the middleman, you are earning something. For example, there's this project called AppCoin. Okay, so AppCoin is basically it's a currency that people can use for in-app purchases and a discount and stuff like that. But they also have this associated with this store called Aptoid. And what happens is that in the old business model, for example, Google Play, okay, users, if you are an app developer and you want people to download your application, you pay Google a sum of money. They'll actually list you on the sponsored page, and every time somebody downloads the app, they kind of like charge you $3 for it. Okay. But now, because there's cutting out the middleman, which is Google Play Store or whatever, when people download your app directly, they get rewarded with tokens. So they are actually creating money out of this new economic model when actually the advertisers who actually was to spend $3 on Google just to push the app to you, now says, why don't you download my app and I'll pay you $3 instead? I'd rather be paying the user than to paying Google. So you're creating the money from those kind of those kind of business models now without the third party. Okay, maybe they won't pay you $3, they pay you $2. So it's
you make $2, they say $1.
Yeah, say $1, and then you get free $2 to buy in-app purchases and stuff like that, because they also want to encourage you to buy stuff on your apps, right? Because in-app purchases is like really low. So now with this coin, you can buy stuff. Maybe it costs $3, but you have $2 in credit, so you spend $1. That's you're enticing people to do it. So why not?
And it's very rich for this economist to talk about us crypto guys creating money out of nothing. You just right when you said that if a company saved $3 here and I'm giving you $2, that $2 would have gone to a middleman before. So therein lies the creation of money. And if you think about economy, right, economic studies, banks create money out of fractional reserve lending, right? You create money out of debt ratio and bond. That's creating money out of nothing.
Yeah.
This is just...
That is real creating money out of nothing. Yeah.
This is just Tai Chiing the money away from you middlemen, dickhead assholes trying to rob us dry to the people. It's all about giving back to the people again.
Yeah.
So I think on the second point that I want to point out in what we just talked about is, if you're developing an ICO, who are you developing it for? Right? Understand your demographic, understand how they respond, what do they need, do they even need your solution to begin with, right?
I think at the end of the day, Or the thing that makes blockchain technology so interesting is that the ability to cut out the middleman. And it sounds like a dream come true, but it is actually slowly doing that, because at the end of the day, these middlemen are actually the ones that are causing a lot of interruptions within the seller and the buyer. Like everything from advertisements, to data, are all being controlled by a third party.
Yeah.
Users are getting milked like crazy for their data, nothing in return. People are getting push ads, but then they are kind of like so irritated by it. But then, if the people, the advertisers, can actually save on this and in a way direct the advertising directly to the user, that is a beautiful thing. Users earn because they want to interact with ads, they get paid, and they get to see ads that really truly, really pay attention to the ads. They don't see them as like, this is just some crap. You get to see real advertisements.
So I got an idea for middlemen out there. Okay, middlemen, we gave you a hard reps just now, but look, we are not here to kill off your business. Your business dying serves no purpose to us, right? So yes, we were harsh on you just now, but here's something to help you think about. Let's take, for example, you're a middleman, your Western Union, for example. You still have the chance right now to gain market credit and dominance by being the first one to go on blockchain, decentralize your own service, tell all your existing customers, we are changing our business model, we are giving it back to you guys. When you think about that as an ICO, think about how many people in your ecosystem who are already going to be your existing customers. And now you build that, you have your own token, it goes up, you can still make some money in the new economy kind of way. Not holding on to your old tried and tested methodology and like, no, I want to squeeze every single penny out of you guys. But if you can embrace technology, you can look at how to pivot your business, you can survive. So we covered a lot of points here. We covered who your demographic is, talking about pivoting. We also talked about ideas and how to have the mindset to look at where you want to build your business. Now, I think the part that people are most interested to find out, and also the part where I know you have been spending a lot of nights flying around, hobnobbing, networking, rubbing shoulders, shaking hands, throwing out name cards. Let's talk a bit about the marketing business.
Okay.
Because the marketing aspect is a huge part of the ICO business. Your great concept, you know your target audience, you're willing to pivot, and you have a great product now ready to go out to market. But without the marketing portion, you're dead. So let's spend some time to talk about that.
Okay, so I will break up marketing into two portions. So one is investor marketing and one is community marketing. So I think investor marketing, right now, how a lot of retail investors, like normal people, are playing it is that they're playing it safe. So before they even touch your white paper, before they even start to understand who you are, they want to see some good VCs backing you, because I would say VCs are like a safety net, because VCs have a reputation to protect, and when they want to invest into a project, they do a very heavy amount of due D. So when you see a good VC backing a certain any kind of projects, you know that the due D process has been done very, very rigorously. So that's something that you can trust and say that, okay, this team is legit because they've already been vetted through this company, which is very reputable. How you actually get the VCs is through either pitching directly to them, find them, hunt them down, tell them, spend 1 minute, tell them about what you are, convince them that you are a good project.
How hard was it?
It was very difficult.
How did you get your first VC?
I think for us, we were pretty lucky in the sense that we actually managed to get an advisor who believed in us, who understood our project and saw the potential. And he was the one who introduced, because I was about to get to the point that when you are telling a VC directly about your project, sometimes it's hard to take your word for it, because there's a lot of ambiguity in the blockchain space. You can say you can do A, but whether you really can do A is a different story. But when you are being told by a trusted third party that says that, hey, I know this bunch of guys, they're very hardworking, they have a good idea, give them 5 minutes of your time. Let them tell you what it is.
Advisor is for.
Yeah, correct. So that is what I would consider a very quality advisor, somebody who can believe in you and bridge you to more credible investors. So once you get the VC and the game is not over yet. Just because you got a recommendation, that doesn't mean jack shit if you cannot convince them that, hey, I'm worth the recommendation. So then you must show them this is how we do business, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to use the blockchain, this is all the things we're going to do. And then once the VC says okay, then at least you're in a place where it says, hey, I'm quite sure that with this VC backing, okay, I can go further. Then
what if the VC wants you to change things?
Okay, yeah, that's where I start to talk about coachability. So now once the VC has vested interest in the company, you're not basically you are not his dog. Okay, you're not. It's not that you have to do everything they tell you to do, but they do command a certain type of respect that you must acknowledge that if they have already committed to invest in you, they also have your best interest at heart. So they have some vested interest in you. They don't advise you because they want you to fail. They already put in money with you, so they want the best for you.
Yeah.
So you have to really take it as, even though it's something that is very hurtful or something that's really brutal, you have to really take it to heart and say, my VC who believe in me and invest in me tell me that I should do something else.
What's the most hurtful thing you got?
I think just in general that our idea is not good enough.
Okay.
So then that makes us think that how else can we implement blockchain technology to make everything package it nicer and better so that there is more blockchain applications and really utilizing it to the full potential and really finding ways to make it better. Yeah.
So you got your advisors first. Your advisor is more than just a face on the website.
Yes.
Right? Your advisor brings you open doors rather.
Yes, open doors for you.
Because he's staking his reputation on your project
Yes.
to bring VCs and fund houses to your team. So now that you talk to the VCs, VC says, okay, we like it, we're going to put some money. What comes after that?
Okay, so after the VC agrees and they say, okay, let's do a deal, it doesn't stop there because that's just one VC. And then you have to go to the next and the next and the next. I would say in general it gets easier as it goes along because once you get more and more credibility, it's easier to believe that you are really on the right track and doing the right things. But it's basically from the first to the fourth VC, you're basically doing the exact same thing for 4 times, and it's really brutal because I would say it takes more than three or four to really convince people that says, hey, this project is going to do it right, So you have to kind of repeat that process, that's why we're going for all these seminars, all these blockchain events to really try and meet the VCs personally and try to pitch to them and tell them what we do and tell them about our special angle and all that kind of stuff.
So when you go down to the events, you sort of corner these VCs and you're like, hey, can I have 1 minute of your time for an
Okay, yeah, it was quite scary. I mean, I went to Seoul last week and there was a lot of VCs there. So it's a very quality event.
Yeah.
But because there was a lot of VCs there was a ton of ICOs like crazy. Like we were just like one of the piranhas out there and the VCs are like a chunk of meat. They just got lowered into the river and all the ICOs like, oh, there's a VC, then they all just rush in.
Okay.
So really, you have to find a way to stand out. You have to do something. Your pitch must be quick, must be good, and find some time to talk to them and try to get into the door. It's really tough. It's a really, really tough game out there. I really respect all of my team members who really went out there to fight for their time and talk to them, and I'm very impressed by how they do it.
Okay.
I think for me, I'm not so excellent at it yet, but I hope that I slowly, by watching them how they do it, I can get better.
You are the marketing director for Swipe, man. If you can't do it, right, something's wrong. I'm sure you're good at it, you're just being too humble now. Okay, so you got your okay, so we are running out of time already. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch Malcolm and myself, along with our other co-host, Jordan, every Friday on Rock the Block Live on Facebook as well as YouTube, where we will review past projects, do comparison, and the upcoming one we're going to talk about is on Bitcoin and Bitcash.
Yeah,
because
Bcash.
next week, on 1st of August, is actually the first anniversary for Bitcoin fork.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to see more of Malcolm, please leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about his sexy knees. We're going to go over to the questions right now if you have anything for us, guys. Okay, while the questions are loading up on screen, I'll just go through the questions that or rather go through the points that we talked about today.
Yep.
1, have the right mindset before you get into ICO. Don't come in with a traditional business mindset and get onto it. That's the wrong thing to do. 2, understand your demographic. Just because this is ICO does not mean people are rich idiots throwing money around. Know who you're serving, not just for ICO, but what comes after ICO, user acquisition.
Yep.
Right? 3, be ready to pivot. Your original idea may not be your best idea, even though you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. When you talk to VCs, you talk to advisors, be ready for what you said, coachability. If you're not willing to change for good advice, don't expect the community out there to like. If you can't take criticism, you're not going to like ICOs very much.
Yep.
Right? And also the last point, know where the money is, know how to market yourself. Don't just think that because you throw money at community development, do airdrops, pump it up to 10K users, you're going to eventually have a lot of people throwing money at you. It doesn't work that way. Money brings money, and the people with money know how to judge whether your project is worth money or not.
Yes.
So when you go down the VC route, it's supposed to going directly to crowdsourcing route. It's not taking a shortcut. It's not being smart about it, trying to avoid the VCs. VCs these days are no longer like it was before as well. They have also evolved. So pick the right VCs, get them to advise you, get a right advisor to open the doors for you, and just work your way out, grinding one step at a time until you reach the very end. Okay, so back on screen, some of those questions I'm looking at. Okay, so if a company or a project is running an ICO, but the business doesn't need the blockchain, does it mean, could you scroll down for me please? I can't see it. Oh, does it mean it's a scam?
Wow. Okay. I think scam is a very broad word.
Yeah.
I would say outright scams are like exit scams, or they basically don't deliver what they promised to. I think if a company who is going onto the blockchain says very specifically that this is what they're going to do, and people buy into the idea, even though maybe the utilization of blockchain technology is not very deep, but people still willingly put their money into the project, it is not a scam. It's just basically a well-marketed project. If that is what people likes to invest in, I think that's perfectly fine. It's only a scam if the company misuse the funds, but I wouldn't say it's an outright scam. It may be cheating your feelings a little bit, maybe not what you expected, but if they clearly say that, hey, we're going to use blockchain technology for this, and if you as a person, as an investor, if you do your due diligence and say, like, okay, now this is like not really that good a use case, but I'll buy it anyway, then that's on you. So I wouldn't say they are scam, but it is better to avoid. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the next question. Okay, for the next question we have, all right, guys, what kind of projects do you think deserve to be an ICO? Wow, okay, I think I'm going to take this question. Okay, so I've been quite a proponent of this, and I've been telling people, you've got a good idea. It doesn't have to go to ICO.
Yeah.
If you don't have what it takes, the team, the finances to build your ICO team, to go out there, travel, rub shoulders, but you like your idea anyway, and you don't think it's going to be worth $30 million, it's maybe worth $2 or $5 million, don't let the ICO game restrict what you can and cannot do or want to do, right?
Yep.
A lot of projects out there, I know, don't start off with ICO first. In fact, a very powerful project is coming out. I believe it's called I'm something. Wallet. It's from China. They came up first without ICO. They didn't want to do ICO.
Oh yeah, I am Token.
Token.
I met them in Korea. They were fantastic.
Huge. They're coming out with ICO now.
Biggest wallet provider in China.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have a purpose. They have a reason. They have the crowd. Then they come up with the ICO.
Yes.
Not, I have a good idea. Let's create ICO and hope to find people.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, ICO is not the be-all and end-all of every great innovative idea.
Yes, I agree. I think I'm Token is doing a fantastic job. If you download the application online or on the Google Play Store or the App Store, you can see that their wallet is very well furnished, very user-friendly, and really good actually, to be honest. So now that they have all this user base, hundreds of, I think millions of downloads on app stores, when you have that kind of numbers and that kind of application, when you go and raise an ICO, people say, okay, this makes sense. Because what's the next step you're going to take? You already have the user base, you already have the product. If you can justify that you need this money to extend your business even further to be the wallet of the world, then I would believe you. I would say, yeah, sounds good. You've already done it in China without an ICO. With an ICO, I believe that you can do it for the world. Take my money.
Yeah. So guys, I think you have heard quite a bit of us today. This is the final episode for this season, where you get this beautiful backdrop, sloping rooftop, mezzanine level, wood feel.
Oh, this is a fantastic place. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun sitting here and getting all these experts and some of the best brains in the industry to share, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from this.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think it's a very great way to casually share all the ideas and the pent-up frustrations that I have, but it's a very fun way to do it, and thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys stay with us for upcoming episodes. I'm sure this is not the last.
This wouldn't be the last. Well, it would be if you guys don't want to watch us. So it's all about the consensus. It's community consensus. You don't want to see us here, we're gone, okay? So we need 80% vote.
That's a lot.
Right. All right, my name is Eugene Tay. This is all the time we have for you today.
My name is Malcolm. Thank you very much for watching.
And you're watching Rock the Block Live. Until next time, signing out.